Section 1. Hey guys, tonight we drift back, way back, to the land between two rivers, where sandals squish into warm mud, priests squint at the sky like anxious weathermen, and the concept of time is just beginning to take shape. You're in ancient Mesopotamia now, and yes, you probably won't survive this. Not because of war, famine, or an angry god of floods, but because you'll miss the temple bell that signals dinner, which, incidentally, hasn't been invented yet. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And if you're feeling sociable, drop your location and local time in the comments, because, well, we're talking about time tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You wake beneath the looming bulk of a ziggurat blinking against the dry heat as dawn slants gold across baked mud bricks. The air smells like dust and date syrup. Somewhere nearby, a goat bleats in protest, possibly at the unfairness of time itself. A temple priest in an impressive cone hat is already pacing, clutching a notched staff. He stops, plants the stick into the ground, and begins muttering. You watch as he measures the priestly shadow stretching along the stone tiles. This isn't a random morning ritual, it's timekeeping Mesopotamian style. You learn quickly, the position of shadows tells them everything: when to pray, when to farm, when to sacrifice a pigeon. It's not exactly a Swiss watch, but it works. Sort of. The priest squints at the sky and declares it the second quarter of the 4th hour of the 13th day of the moon's third smile, or something like that. He looks satisfied. You meanwhile just want breakfast. Time here isn't digital, it's divine. It slips across sundials made of bone and stone, bends around water jugs, and flutters through reeds. You watch as two assistants unroll a cord along the temple's eastern steps. It's braided with tiny beads at intervals, an early attempt to standardize shadow lengths like a measuring tape from a fever dream. Historians still argue whether this method ever actually worked or if it was mostly decorative. But to these priests, it matters. Greatly. See? One whispers as he tugs. Your tunic. The god Utu tracks us by the lines we cast. When the shadow of the rod falls upon the 9th brick, you must bow. You bow, just to be safe. And just like that, your day has officially begun. A clay tablet is pressed into your hands, well, half a tablet. The top is missing and the symbols look like a turtle trying to write in the dark. Still, this is your schedule, you're told. It appears to say, stir barley, sweep temple, and something that might translate to avoid eye contact with the goat again. Your guide, a thin, wide-eyed temple novice, leads you past a row of columns etched with odd little figures. He explains that each segment of the day is ruled by different gods. Early morning belongs to Utu, the sun god. Midday is governed by Enlil, who apparently hates naps. Night, oddly enough, belongs to Nana, the moon god who loves owls and awkward silences. The time isn't divided evenly, though. That's the catch. Some hours are long, others short. Some days are 12 hours, some are 14. Everything depends on the season and whether the moon is being moody. You reach a courtyard where two old men are arguing, gently, politely, with many grunts, about whether it's still morning or has tipped into the uncertain light. One points to the ziggurat's top step, where a bell hasn't rung yet. The other gestures at a puddle where the sun's reflection has just begun to dance. This is the Mesopotamian version of a wristwatch debate, and no one can agree. You sit for a while on a dusty stone bench, chewing on dried figs that taste like regret. A clay bowl of water is placed beside you, filled to a carved line. You're told it's a clepsydra, a water clock. The idea is simple. As the water trickles out, time trickles away. In theory. Unfortunately, someone forgot to seal a crack in the side, so the clock is both fast and slow depending on which side it leaks. Still, they use it to signal prayer times. Across the courtyard, a row of apprentices lines up to chant exactly 108 syllables of praise. This, too, is timekeeping. The chant takes precisely the same length of time as a bowl of water draining, assuming the goat doesn't knock it over. Again, everything here is soft-edged and uncertain. You wonder aloud, how did they know when to harvest crops? Your guide shrugs. When the barley sighs. Thanks, but don't be fooled by the sleepiness. This world runs on ritual precision, even if its tools are made of clay and sunbeams. People were fined for missing temple duty by a fraction of a shadow's width. Entire festivals depended on aligning shadow posts with distant hilltops at dawn. And yes, if you guessed wrong, the gods might frown, or sneeze, or flood the river. The priest from earlier walks by again, satisfied that the shadows are behaving now. He nods at you and points to the ziggurat's top tier. There, an enormous bronze disc glints in the sunlight, possibly a sun calendar, or possibly just a large reflective dish that keeps birds off the altar. Historians still argue whether it was functional, ceremonial, or a really elaborate bird deterrent. You're told it's almost the third moment before midday's eye, which means time to prepare offerings. You sigh. Time isn't measured here so much as guessed, interpreted, and occasionally scolded into obedience, but you play along. You squint at the sky, check the bowl, nudge the stick, and decide, yes, it's definitely maybe nearly time.